Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parrish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. You need a roof, you call Parrish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and Boatcock Brothers Premium Cigars. They got their national. Check it, y'all. The Natty Box is here. If you haven't seen it yet, show it off a little bit. Awesome look. And then you slide this piece out to reveal your cigars. Might have gotten into that. Gotten one of them already. But anyway, awesome keepsake, awesome box. Great cigars, too. Code MATT15 for 15% off your order. I don't know what is going on with this light from heaven. See, that's better. Better? Okay. It was weird. I don't know if y'all noticed I had that light shining down from right here. Anyway. Okay. All right, y'all. Good morning. Hope your weekend is off to a great start. No practice availability today. LSU will scrimmage tonight in Tiger Stadium, 6:30. Kelly told us they're trying to simulate a night game thing. So playing at night, they'll have the video boards on, the whole thing. So they're going to make it feel, crank up Tiger Stadium, make it feel like a game tonight. Nussmeier is going to scrimmage. Nussmeier and Whit Weeks basically were given off days yesterday. Whit didn't dress at all yesterday. Kelly said that they're not going to practice him 5 days in a row. And then Nussmeier was there dressed. He did very, very little. It was a day where Van Buren got all the reps. And Kelly told us after, said they keep basically a pitch count on Nussmeier, how many throws that he makes. And when he hits a certain number, they scale him back. It's just load management. So obviously it was a very light day Friday at practice in anticipation of gearing up for Saturday. So with a big day today, and then they'll have a recovery day on Sunday. Y'all, you realize next week we have week 0 football games? It's incredible. We'll be watching week 0 football a week from today. Can't wait for it. Saints travel home yesterday. They'll have a walkthrough today, and then they'll play tomorrow at noon in the Dome against Jacksonville, second preseason game. And I'm excited to see that one. How they build off the first game, obviously everyone's looking at the quarterbacks, but then there's really interesting players like what are you going to do at tight end with both, Foster and Taysom Hill hurt. You got guys. Ross Jackson's actually got a piece up right now at Louisiana Sports Tonight about Michael Jacobson. Good opportunity for him. So anyway, lots going on. Fire away. The drill as always. Like the page, share the posts. Facebook, like the page, share the post. If you're on YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all for being here. Drop your comments. We'll go. Hey, make defense great again. Morning, Matt. What have you seen from a special team standpoint, punt return, kick return specifically? Do you think special teams would be a weapon this year like we saw in the bowl game? Yeah, good question. So I can kind of take it unit by unit. Aaron Burrell is going to kick off again, and Damian Ramos is back as your place kicker, obviously. You do have a new snapper. Last year was Slade Roy. Now it's Jonathan Ferguson. So that is something to watch. You have a new snapper and holder. Grant Chadwick, the Middle Tennessee punter, has been holding. They have worked Badger Hargett, who's a walk-on punter. They've worked Badger Hargett in as holder as well. But it's worth noting, that is a whole new battery there where you're going to have a new snapper holder for Damian Ramos. Returns. Oh, did I leave? Left my notebook on my desk at work. I'll have to do this by memory. So, punt returns have been Xavier Thomas, Aaron Anderson, Barian Brown, primarily. Kick returns, those three, plus the running backs, Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson. Chris Hilton's been back there. Kyle Parker, and I feel like there's one more I'm forgetting. Jelani Watkins as well. So naturally, fastest guy on the team. But I think the units are good. Grant Chadwick, the punter from Middle Tennessee, has a booming leg. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Burrell became kind of the pooch punter. They're all working on this rugby style punt as well whenever they do special teams, and Burrell's been over there doing a lot of that. So something to watch. Hey, Anthony Googleuse, I could care less of special teams right now. Oh, well, how much less could you care? You mean you couldn't care less? Means you care so little you couldn't care any less. Let's see. Make defense great again. Inability to return punts and kicks and be a carrier has been an issue. That's true. And it's interesting because you think back to the first game against Florida State and Malik Neighbors, muff 2. And after that, they put Gregory Clayton back there just to catch the ball and not return it, which is so odd because for 25 years, LSU's never had a problem finding an athlete to catch, kick, and a punt, return it. I mean, go back to Todd Kinchin or Eddie Kennison or Kevin Falk. I mean, just through, like, you don't need me to run through the years, but Dominic Davis and Skylar Green and Trendon Holiday and Patrick Peterson and Odell Beckham. And I mean, you all know, I mean, it's just they've always had somebody. And it's odd that it's become really a non-factor. But I think that changes this year, especially because of Berrien Brown. Remember, Berrien Brown holds the SEC record for kickoff returns for a touchdown in a career. He's got 5. So Berrien Brown is immediately an already proven impact dynamic guy in the return game. Yes, facts. And against they did it back-to-back games. Wasn't it, or was it Vanderbilt? Wasn't it, or was it Oklahoma? Was it Oklahoma Baylor? They did it twice last year because it was Aaron Anderson, Xavier Thomas each did. And by the way, if you remember, the opening kickoff of the season last year, Xavier against USC, Xavier Thomas was a shoestring tackle away from breaking the opening kickoff of the season for a touchdown. If you have any interest to go back and watch that, literally go watch the opening kickoff of the season. I mean, it was, because I remember we were sitting there at the freaking 45-yard line with great seats. Shout out to Mockler Beverage, Bud Light. With great seats, we're low, and Xavier takes the kickoff from our right, and he's running toward us up the sideline. I mean, guy just grabbed, shoestring tackle, where he's gone. Jacob, good morning. 14 days to LSU football. I'm ready, man. I'm ready for it. Hey, Rooney, good morning. Bob, good morning. Brandon, Jeremy, hey, Dad, good morning, good morning, good morning. Survivor's Remorse, good morning. LSU Les Miles, Will Wade should be furious on how the NCAA handled Michigan. They threatened LSU with the worse for less. Had evidence of cheating, said Harbaugh had continued. I'm with you. So much of it is how you handle it. And LSU's defiance with Will Wade was a big part of why that all played out the way it did. I don't disagree with you, by the way. But how you handle the NCAA determines a lot of times how they're going to treat you. Wish we would scrimmage Tulane to get a game under our belt for Clemson. I mean, I wish they would play week 0. We've talked about that plenty. And they open next year at home with Clemson. And if they lose this year, I think they should go to work immediately trying to find a week 0 game for next year. Lance, good morning. Did you drop a nugget on AFR yesterday? There'll be no whiskey and wine this year. No. Devin, I needed a laugh the other night, so I decided to watch Whiskey and Wine postgame from Alabama. No integrity for the game, would cheat to win, plus with the coach allegedly sneaking explicit pics of girls and hacking computers, getting slapped on the wrist for the program. Oh, sorry, that's the continuation of your previous one. Lance, you mentioned you couldn't be road games past, postgame mentioned going to I said might go to the OU game. And I did go to, if you remember, I went to USC last year. Went to Rose Bowl, UCLA.
You want to get in the top league with some grandma?
Yep. Yep.
Where's OU?
Oklahoma.
When are you going?
I don't know if I'm going there. Mike, Ryan and I were talking about it. The last game of the season. Saturday after Thanksgiving. Hey, Blake, good morning. Interesting hearing BK say similar things to Kubelik about the run game. Also says this will be a good offensive line despite concerns from a lot of people. He did. When Kelly met with reporters yesterday after practice, he kind of touted his record and said, I know what a good offensive line looks like, and there's going to be a good group. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm dealing with some, I don't know. This yesterday during AFR, this kind of started. Just, I feel fine all day, and then this nasal congestion and sneezing. I feel fine, but it's just this. I don't know what this is. But so my apologies. I'm not trying to sneeze and be phlegmy all on the show. Morning, Matt. What does your shirt mean? Anybody want to help Brad? Here you go, Brad. Got it? Is it that one? Nope, it's that one. Okay. Got it, Brad? Let's see. Go back, find my spot. Tiger Poppy, good morning. Any update from Dabo on the Clemson OL and injuries? Nope. Not since Thursday. Did you watch episode 3 of the Netflix? I did not. I watched the first 2 episodes and have not gotten episode 3. Last night, Eric and I watched Happy Gilmore 2. So we had a little stay home movie date night. So maybe I'll try to watch some of the other episodes today. We are having a party. Erica's sister, her birthday. We're doing a family get together for her birthday here today. Just felt a sneeze coming on. Yeah. And then, so kind of getting the house ready for that, but might have time to sneak a few episodes in. How do we get a Nussbus shirt? Yeah, hang on. I'll send the link. It's at 929 Misfits. Remember, not only do we have Nussbus shirts, we also have Nussbus hoodies. So 10 out of 10 recommend. Here you go. Here's the Nussbus link. But check out the site. There's tons of good stuff there if you're interested. Tons of good merch. But check it out there. What percentage will Trades play at wide receiver? 0. He's a tight end. Now, that's not to say he won't be flexed, but I mean, there's times we'll see 3 tight. I mean, we've seen 3 tight end sets with Sharp, Trades, and Donovan Green. There's been times where Trades has his hand in the dirt. Times he's flexed out the slot. Here we go. I got to go get a Kleenex. Hang on. Okay. I know the explanation. I took a Claritin D. And so the decongestant has my sinuses just draining right now. That's what all this is. That medicine's starting to kick. Hey, Christian, good morning. Cooley, Moore, Delane, Coach Atkins have played or prepped for Clemson. That's got to help, right? Sure. I think certainly someone like Braylon Moore, who's gone against that defensive front, played in that stadium, that helps. To Marcus Cooley with NC State. Did NC State play? I don't know if Clemson and NC State played last year. I don't think they played last year. Hang on. Oh, no, they did. They did. That was the game. That was the game they lost. That was the game where after that, NC State got blown out. That was the game where after that game is when Marcus Cooley became like a full-time starter at NC State last year. So, yeah, I think that certainly helps. Michael, good morning. Glenn, good morning. Doing post-game show from Don Juan. We've not decided yet what's going to happen for post-game. I know we're 2 weeks out, but there's still some things we're trying to work out. I know everyone keeps asking. Everyone's asked forever. Like, will I be at Don Juan? Will it be Whiskey and Wine? Will I have a new co-host? Well, I don't know yet. There's a few ideas. There's still some things that have to fall into place that I don't know the answer to. As soon as I know that answer, I will certainly let you know what our plans are for postgame. But there will be postgame. There will be postgame, 100%. There will be postgame. It's just a matter of how it's going to look, who it's going to be, where it's going to be, all that sort of stuff. Hey, Ben. Good morning. It's my 48th birthday. My youngest daughter's 11th birthday. All right, Ben. Happy birthday to you and your daughter. Hope y'all have a great joint birthday. Man, almost to the big 5-0. But hopefully it's a better day for your daughter. She deserves it. Kiddos on their birthdays deserve to have a special day. So hopefully y'all enjoy it together. Why is it in baseball that juniors lose leverage in the MLB draft? They choose to return the senior year. Football players don't seem affected in the NFL draft. They do the same because of the contract structures are different. So in baseball, you have a bonus pool slot money, a bonus slot pool, right? So teams can spend their bonus pool on their first 10 round picks, and every pick has slot value. So you can negotiate or go back to school. The thing is, in the NFL, if you're drafted, you can't go back to school. Like if you're in the draft, you're in the draft. And similarly, the NFL team can't then draft someone in a later round and use that money. Does that make sense? So if you're in baseball as a junior and you get picked and they want to offer you $2 million and you're like, no, I want $3 million. Well, you say, well, give me $3 million, or I'm going back to school. If you're a senior and they pick you, you don't have any leverage to say, I'm going back to school. Wherever they pick you and whatever they offer you, you have to accept. That's why you lose all your negotiating leverage, because when you're a junior, you can go back to school for another year. Philip, I like 40-31 better. Kelly Gross, good morning. Kevin, I watched a college football show on ESPN last week. They were talking about opening games, constantly hyping up Clemson. They returned 9% of their starters. Are we in as much trouble as they were saying? I mean, Kevin, nobody likes hearing me say this, but I've said it all offseason. Like, I'm picking Clemson to win the game. They're at home. They have a fifth-year senior quarterback. They returned 16 starters. They have the most returning production in college football this year. They're at home. Their coaches won 2 national titles. They got a really good defensive line. You've got a totally new offensive line. You've lost 5 straight openers. Like, I would certainly feel differently if the game was in Baton Rouge. I would absolutely feel differently if this was like week 3. If LSU had 2 games even if it was like 2 layups before they went on the road. This is just a very daunting task to go week 1 with so many new pieces on the road against a very veteran team in a tough place to play. Yeah. It's why LSU's an underdog in the game. Hey, Brad, good morning. Jared, Clemson doesn't have a punter. They have 3 players battling, but nobody's been consistent. Got my info from Locked On Clemson. Good. I have talked about that too, by the way, the Place King situation. Hey, Brandon. Clemson's best offensive lineman on crutches. You might have caught that on a recent episode of Locked On LSU. Yeah, so they have a veteran offensive lineman named Walker Parks, who's in his 6th year. He was a freshman during COVID, and then he got injured a couple of seasons ago, so he had a redshirt year as well. So he's played in 52 games. He was first team All-ACC, preseason All-ACC, everything. And he got injured in their scrimmage last week and did not participate in the scrimmage on Thursday. Reports are he's been on crutches. Dabo was asked about it, and Dabo just said, he'll be all right. Good to go. That's it. And none of the Clemson media bothered to ask a follow-up. And so I blew a gasket. Definitely have veteran special teams over Clemson. Hey, Daniel Braywick, 14 days till LSU football. 14 days till 40. Okay, man. Hopefully it'll be a good way to celebrate. Hey, Club, good morning. Thanks for asking the tough questions. You're welcome, Club. I just can't imagine not doing your job. Right, 12-0. I'm here for it, man. Hey, Cody, how much do you think the open media availability for LSU affects the opening game? Clemson doesn't allow media. Curious about that. Literally zero. Literally zero. I don't know how it would affect the opening game. I don't know what. And we don't get to see everything they do. Yeah, everyone has film. Brad, were the ratings usually higher for Whiskey One after win or loss? Kind of depends. Usually a loss. Like the two biggest shows that T-Bob and I ever did were Florida State Clemson in 23-24. I'm sorry. Florida State USC 23-24 when they lost. You could look at the annual. You can go in our YouTube studio and look at the 365-day graph, the viewer graph, and there's these two giant needles, spikes. And it's those two days. We went down a rabbit hole of your Nick Saban retirement and Bama's burning segments. LOL. Can't wait for the season to start. Hey, Jalen. By the way, survivor's remorse. Just so you know, like, I'm glad you brought that up. Because you did that, you have the full context of what I've said about Bama since Nick Saban was gone, which is never that they're going to be awful. They're on 500. I've never said any of that. Well, they're going to be good. They're going to win games. They're going to get good. They're going to have nice wins. But their days of being the dominant force they were under Nick Saban are over. No one fears them anymore. It's completely over. Devin, what's up, man? Did I miss anything good? Jalen, what's up? Boo Dad, I've never been asked that. That's crazy about whiskey and wine. First person asked. Thanks.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com. Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof.
Hey, you missed.
All the way down.
You can sit in that chair if you want.
Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built.
Oh, all right.
From your hometown.
Here, good. All right. Put on your bip. Bip, you're good. But you gotta sit up. I need you to sit up straight. Can you sit up straight, please? You sit up straight, please? Thank you. All right. There we go. Here we go. All right. Get you started. Hang on. All right. Ready. Mad dash here. Mad Dash Erica, you lost tooth last night? So last night I was brushing Drew's teeth and getting him ready for bed, getting ready for his bath. I brushed his teeth and he goes, like jerks his head and he goes, spit out a tooth. Drew's like a shark. He's got like 2 rows of teeth. Go this way. You're good? Oh, almost done. So good. Thank you. 2 more. So good. So good. And one more. One more. One more.
Dio's playing.
Goodness, but you want to say hi to Dad show?
No.
You don't want to say hi to Dad show?
Backpack.
But everybody likes to see Drew on Dad show. Look hard. Here we go. 10:57. Ooh, it was a late start for you, bud. Slept till 11 o'clock. You need it after that long week at school, huh? What? What?
Dio's playing.
Go this way. All right, put on your big pip. Put on your big pip. Come on. Here we go.
Baby, I come.
Big here. Good. One. Wait. Two. Hang on. Wait. All right, off you go.
I can't breathe.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Drew decided to get him some Z's, some good Z's. Let's see. Fish, what up, man? Good morning. Devin was happy to. Devin, I laughed. It was stupid. It's what you expect. It's not going to win any awards. They make a lot of the same jokes, but there's cameos all over. The whole thing is a giant cameo. Bunch of callbacks on jokes. It was good. If you liked watching Happy Gilmore 30 years ago, you need to see it. You need to see it. So you did. One more week. Let's go. It's not wrong. Hey, John, enjoying your recent takes on the standard of LSU defense then versus now. Lou Tepper was DC when I was a student. Ooh. Yeah, man. The old drop linebacker, poor Thomas Dunson. Is your house party central for the Scone family? No, not always. We move around. We do like Christmas Eve is at one of Erica's sister's house. Thanksgiving is at another sister's house. We usually like Father's Day here. Halloween here, like trick or treat. They move Mother's Day is we move we move around a bunch. You got it in. Absolutely, for sure. Thank you. Hey, Devin, hope Bama loses 4 regular season games this year and loses the bowl game. Next year, hope the wheels fall off. They lose 5 regular season games in the bowl game. They fire Kalen DeBose. I would love to see it. Do you remember watching Tommy Hodson play? Were you too young? I saw Jacques interviewed him. So Tommy Hodson would be like my first memories. We moved to Baton Rouge from New Orleans in '89. So I have vague memories of it, not of games specifically, but situations. Like I remember being at the Miami game in '88 because we sat in the rain. I remember when I really remember like sequences of games was probably began in like 93, 94. I remember watching the Todd Kinchin offensive pass interference on the Hail Mary against Vanderbilt in 1990. There wasn't a whole lot to write about 91, 92. My dad and I went to the LSU Tennessee game in Tiger Stadium in 92. He was on crutches because he had a torn ACL. It was Heath Schuler, and Tennessee beat the mess out of LSU. 94, we went to the A&M game in Tiger Stadium. The opener was a bajillion degrees, not fun. I was at the 94 game where they lost to Southern Miss. Obviously, the interception game, remember watching that vividly. Anyway. Why does LSU put another quarterback in when running the Wildcat? They should just have a jumbo package with Trades outside and or Nick Anderson on Island 1-on-1. Quarterback as receiver. Doesn't make sense. Well, I see what you're saying. So, like, why do they motion Nuss out? Why is Nuss on the field? I think it's because so you don't let the defense get set. Because if the defense is on the field with Nuss on the field, or if you take Nuss off the field, more likely to be a run. They put an extra run defender in the box. Hey, Roderick, Nuss bust. Let's go. Morning, Matt. Have to have whiskey and wine. Mandatory. Maybe Flynn can use someone outside of guarantee. Maybe bring Jordy back. Yeah, Jordy's not going to come back. And we've used people outside of guarantee. Like I mean, Rohan was on for a year. Roe was supposed to be the guy who replaced Jordy. And he stood me up the first week. And T-Bob, that day, the day of that game, I think it was McNeese in 2021. I was talking to T-Bob. Like, that's how T-Bob started on Whiskey and Wine. It was supposed to be Roe. Roe bailed on me the day of the game. And remember, T-Bob and I were doing, had been doing pregame years prior. And that was the year we hired Jeremy Hill. And Jeremy Hill was doing pregame with Hanny, I believe. And T-Bob called me that morning and was like, hey, what time do we start pregame? I'm like, we're not doing pregame this year. I was like, but Rohan bailed on me on Whiskey and Wine. Like, do you want to come on? He's like, hell yeah, dude. And so that's literally how that started. Hibby. Good to go. Devin, I think going 3, 4, 5 regular season losses, lose bowl games, would be enough to fire Kalen DeBose. He would be getting worse every year. Definitely not anywhere close to the standard. I'll tell you this, man. If they miss the playoff this year, they may run him out of town. I understand they owe him a ton of money, but the point that I made then and will continue to make is they are not. Nick Saban won 6 national titles in 12 years. From 2009 to 2020, he won 6 national titles in 12 seasons. 2020, which is a fake title anyway, stupid COVID year, was their last one. So now you're going 21, 22, 23, 24. They don't win it again. This is 5 years without a title. And if they don't make the playoff in consecutive years, like the more that stretch continues, the more melt there's going to be there, because the more they realize they're drifting away from relevance. That's been my point all along. LSU 35-21. Okay. I would love to see LSU win by 2 touchdowns at Clemson. I don't think that's going to happen, but I would love to see it. Hey, Jake, do you use BPC 157 to recover from lifting or other reason? I've used it 100% max workouts. Works great. No muscle soreness. Love that. I do not use it for lifting. I use it for my back pain. So I think I've told you before, I did my first cycle, 8-week cycle, and I did it all subcutaneous in my belly. They said, actually, if you inject closer to the spot of pain, you'll have better success even. So 8 weeks on, 8 weeks off. Thursday, I started my next cycle, which is 28 straight days, every day for 28 days. And I'm doing it in my lower back. So just make sure that you stay away from don't inject it into your spine, of course. But so I'm kind of finding spots in my lower back to inject. So letting you know how it goes. Matt, curious thoughts on ULL coach saying we should play. I didn't hear that. That LSU and ULL should play in football is, I guess, what you're saying. Okay. I mean, LSU plays all the in-state schools, so they on a rotational basis to keep a lot of that money in state. So I'm sure they will. They have in the past. I'm sure they will again. I know Clemson brings most of their team back. I don't think they were a great team last year. I think they'll be better, but with all the experience, defensive talent, probably feel good. Okay. I told you I'm in a weird in between on Clemson. Clemson last year scored 3 points against Georgia. They lost at home to Louisville, lost at home to South Carolina, where they scored only 14 points. They backdoored their way into the ACC championship game because Miami threw up on itself against Syracuse and blew a big lead. And Clemson got to go to the ACC championship game and play SMU. And then they made it in the playoff and they lost to Texas. So I think it's fair to say like, what did they actually do last year? That's fair. It's also fair to say they're at home, fifth-year quarterback, most returning production in college football, 3 potential NFL guys on the defensive line, 4 starters returning on the offensive line. LSU has a totally new offensive line, a bunch of new players. I mean, obviously, it's there's a weird in between there that makes this game tough to figure out. Great. Hey, David, good morning. Jalen, whiskey and wine questions are winning over the jingle. My prediction for LSU is 10-2 with loss to Clemson and Alabama. Jared, here's a joke. Ask Matt, how is the guy that had surgery? ND needs some finance. Ask Matt, how is the guy that had surgery? ND needs some finance. Matt responds like Dabo. You're right. Good to go. Surgery. I don't know what you're saying there. Sorry, man. Hey, Joseph. How would you assess BK thus far? I think LSU is in a far more stable spot now than what he took over, which is what the context that people often forget is what he inherited. You had back-to-back. You went 5-5 in the COVID year, and you went 6-7 in 2021, and you had 38 scholarship players in that bowl game. He inherited a mess. You are undeniably more stable here. Won 10 games each of his first 2 years. Heisman winner. Beat Alabama the first year. SEC West Championship. All that stuff. However, still has not reached the standard and the expectation of why he's here. And the big disappointment, of course, is 2 years ago to have had that offense and have been historically bad defensively. And they just whiffed. They whiffed on all the transfers. You are in a much better, more stable place now than you were under Ogeron, but you are not where you want to be. So can this team get you to that point? That's the question. I need that jingle to sleep. Team Drew. I know what you said about Bama. You know how people are. They take what they want from what you say things. Yes, always. But that's why I always say I love the digital era because everything's recorded. So you can make up whatever you want, but it's all right there. Go watch it. All right. Let's see. Did that one. Cody, post a link for the Moose pajamas. I love where Erica gets those. Appreciate y'all. Here's all the ones for Brett. Does Colston get in the Hall of Fame? No, absolutely not. Marcus Colston never even made a Pro Bowl. He was the greatest receiver in the history of New Orleans Saints, but he never made a Pro Bowl. So no, Marcus Colston will not be a Hall of Famer. Hey, Charles, what's going on? Good morning. Brian Ashcraft, sorry, who you got tonight in the UFC? I haven't even looked at the full card, but I guarantee we'll have it on outside when the family's over here. Now, my brother-in-law, Jeff, is big. He's the one I went to UFC fights with him in New Orleans, so we'll definitely have it on. I'm curious who's on the I mean, just by the way, yay! If you're asking about the main event, like whenever I see a dude with just the beard here and no mustache, I'm going for I'm picking that guy. So Chimaev over Duplessis is a great fighter, but those Eastern European dudes, they are just dominating the sport right now. So I mean, Chimaev, I think, I mean, I'm looking up the line right now on it, but I guarantee you he is a heavy favorite in this fight. Yeah. Chimaev is minus 265. Duplessis is plus 215. And Duplessis is a great fighter. I mean, anyway. Let's see. Pico over Murphy. Kratz over Neal. Page against Cannonier. Asakura against Elliott. I love him. Susurkayev over Eric, minus 1,200 over Nolan. Oh, my God. Like, that's one where you want, like, how does that even get on? Oh, Jessica Andrade's fighting tonight?
Yay.
Edson Barboza's fighting tonight? It's a good card. Idris is fighting tonight? Okay. Anyway, all right, please smash the like button if you would subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Charles, what's going on? Sorry, did that one. Abner, good morning. Thanks for all you do for us. Abner, thanks for coming back, man. Like I always say, man, if y'all weren't here watching or listening, I wouldn't be doing it. So thanks for being here. Joseph, happy good, which was terrible. Was clearly disinterested 10 minutes into it. I don't know, man. Maybe it's Joseph. I don't know how old you are, what era. Looking at your photo there. Look, maybe like we might be about the same age. I guess it's all what the expectation was going in. I had such a low bar of expectation going in. And of course, it was a terrible movie, but it was exactly what you expected. It was all the cameos. It was all of Adam Sandler's friends. It was the same characters from last time. It's callback jokes. I mean, of course, same thing. Hey, Don. Said yesterday Kansas 300 million gift bought them instant relevance. Given we don't have that kind of money, are you hinting we should brace for dark days? I'm not hinting that at all, because what LSU does have is great conference affiliation, in-state talent, history, all that sort of stuff. So the LSU isn't going to become irrelevant. The opportunity in this era is for programs who were previously irrelevant to become relevant. Because they can buy their way to relevance. So does that make sense? It's not necessarily that the haves will all of a sudden stop being relevant. It's that the have-nots now have an opportunity to buy their way to relevance. Jalen moved to New Orleans. That whiskey and wine with the one and only Big C. I'll be asleep. Lance Rowan bailed on Matt to go on Jordy's show. That's what happened. And I was not happy with him. I'm still not happy with him. Stat Dub, AFR needs a weekly MMA segment. I would love to do that. I would love to do that, but it's, you learn in this business, you play the hits, man. And there's just not enough interest from this audience in the sport as a whole. Like, the times when I can talk MMA is when there are when there are storylines that transcend just the fight. Like, Conor McGregor became a transcendent fighter. Brock Lesnar was a transcendent fighter. When someone like trying to think of other examples. Obviously, like when Dustin Poirier fights, you have the local angle, so there's interest. And when Sean Jordan was fighting, there was interest there because the guy played football at LSU, right? Other than that, it's tough. Danny, a chance for Rohan makeup. His segment was always fun. And his intro was perfect. Had Carly in it. Yeah. That's on Rohan. Like, that's 100% on him. Devin, I know I'm behind. Sorry, just seeing this, but Drewster, what up, my dude? Hope you have an awesome Saturday, Mommy Day. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that, man. Let's see. He's talking about a guy that had quadruple bypass GoFundMe, and your response be like, Davo? So Brian Penton is our longtime viewer who had quadruple bypass. I don't know the response you're talking about, though. Matt, if LSU loses a close game at Clemson, do you think there will be major reason for optimism for this team? Yes. Like, that's the point that I've continued to try to make over and over again. I know there's this feeling like people say that they have to win, they have to beat Clemson, must win. Like, I don't feel that at all. Like, like, yes, we all desperately want to see LSU win an opener. I desperately want to see LSU start 1-0. If they beat Clemson, the path to a playoff is infinitely easier because I think 6-2 for LSU in the league is super attainable, and that puts you at 10-2 overall, and you're in the playoff. However, you can absolutely lose the Clemson game and still make the playoff, because the surest way into the playoff is to win your league, and the Clemson game doesn't affect your standing in the SEC at all. So, anyway, yes, I want to see him win. Yes, it obviously makes your path to the playoff clearer, but it's not essential that they win for the big goals of the season. A Russian Muslim train, nothing else. Goodest way. Hey, Barry, glad to see Drew. Fellas growing. A few minutes. All good, man. Yeah, thank you so much. Drew just turned 11 in July, so onward and upward, man. Devin, best part of watching Bama lose is watching all the backwood gums lose their minds and devolve after being so arrogant and ridiculous all these years. That's the point. It is so much fun. And then when you dare to call them out on it and challenge their supremacy, boy, they don't like that at all, which is why I keep doing it over and over again. Why is 15% of an LSU show about Alabama? Wait, we know. 15% of an LSU show about Alabama? I don't think you get it. Goodest way. I do 15 hours of radio a week. I do at least 7 locked ons a week. Not to mention morning scone and all this stuff as well. And you maybe get a 5-minute segment once a month, maybe. So dramatically overstated. And I would actually flip it on you. Why is an Alabama fan watching an LSU show? Because you don't know how to quit me. Because you all know deep down that I'm right about everything I've said about your program. And you're so insecure. You can't stand the thought that anybody would dare challenge your supremacy and your dominance in anything. And when someone calls it out, all it does is it pushes the button right on your deepest rooted insecurity. And you know I'm right, which is why Alabama fans keep coming back to this show and keep watching all of my content, because you just can't help yourself. And that has me firmly and deeply planted in your brain, which is a lot of fun. How's Nick Anderson looking? Nick Anderson actually hurt his foot yesterday. Came off the field. They took his shoe off. They were kind of messing with the top of his foot, like by his toes. He did put the shoe back on, though, and went back in. Nick Anderson's good, man. He's a big old 6'4" physical receiver who I think is going to have a great season. It's just about opportunity. Like there's so many options in this offense that it's just how they spread the ball around, I think, is going to be pretty interesting. Happy Gilmore 2 was like all movies was nostalgia porn. Hey, Barry, good morning. Matt, have you reached out to Tyron about having him on AFR? It would be cool to have him on postgame one day. I've not reached out to Tyron. Would love to do that, though. Need to see if he's staying in town or what he's doing. Devin, how has the tight end done with the run pass blocking number 10 in particular? Are you transferred? Yeah, you're talking about Bauer Sharp. And he's really good. Interesting thing about Bauer Sharp is, remember, he was a quarterback who signed with Southeastern Louisiana. And after a few years at Southeastern, they moved him to tight end, and then he went to OU, and he was OU's leading pass catcher last year. But he's 255. I mean, he is rock solid. He is an aggressive physical dude. Like he is your blended hybrid modern tight end, the guy that's athletic enough to run routes and catch passes, but physical enough to be a good inline blocker as well. Mark, Saints win over 5 games this year. I have them on that number, Mark. I have them 5-12. Guy Jared made a joke above that you didn't understand who he was talking about. He was talking about Brian and your response to be like that. But did I do that? Did I do that, or are you saying I just didn't understand what he's saying? Hey, Rex, good morning. Randall, how much money has LSU been losing out on by not being in the playoff the past 5 years? Well, the thing you got to remember is the way those distributions go is that all the money goes into the SEC pot. So whatever the payout is goes into the pot. It's divvied up evenly. So it's less about like the specific dollars of your team being in, because when a team goes and participates in a game like that, or a bowl game, for example, so whatever the payout for that game is, the school participating gets an allocation, but a lot of time that allocation just covers your expenses. It covers hotel and airfare and meals and all that stuff. So a lot of times, like with bowl games specifically, teams a lot of times lose money playing in bowl games because the payout isn't a big enough dollar amount to offset the expense of having a travel party of 200 people fly and stay in a hotel for a week. So the bigger thing really is that money, just if you're talking about like direct dollars, none. Indirectly, just the opportunity exposure being in the playoff, that's significant. Hey, Jesse, let's see. Do you think the penalties Michigan received will have impact on the program? Nope. Literally zero. It's $20 million of future TV revenue, which in this era, who cares? Go this way. Sharon Moore will be suspended for an additional game. I think their bigger problem is they don't have Jim Harbaugh anymore. I don't think Sharon Moore is a very good coach. And that's got nothing to do with the penalties. Hey, Thomas, good morning. We already handled number 102 today, Thomas. We're there. Boo Daddy, I know you said it before. How did you start Morning Scone? I started Morning Scone in 2018, I believe. And the idea was I was going to do a recorded show. And 10 minutes, record it, upload it every day on YouTube. And you can actually go find the first ever episode. It's actually called Breakfast Scone. And then I don't know why I decided to turn it into a live stream, maybe just on the recommendation that you all had. Then you all changed the name. Said instead of Breakfast Scone, you should call it Morning Scone. So that's when we changed it to Morning Scone. And the idea was just to be present on every platform. That was really when I started. If you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, he had a show that he called Daily V, which the Morning Scone is a variation of that. However, he did that just weekdays for a brief time. I've done it every day and never stopped. But that was the the genesis of the idea, but the premise was like, let's be on every platform. And I didn't have a YouTube presence at the time in 2018. I was doing Twitter and Facebook really, but that was it. And that's when I was like, all right, like I need to be on everything. So that's when we started Instagram, and short time later, TikTok. I mean, I was one of the first people on TikTok. I admittedly, even knowing the opportunity, should have gone harder on TikTok than I did when it started. Because I knew, I mean, I knew the answer to the test. I was there early enough. But, and truthfully, a giant reason why, like, I have this YouTube channel is, like, in this era of digital, you just don't know what the future is ever going to hold. And so, I mean, I have no intention of leaving Guarantee. I mean, I hope I have the opportunity to stay there and do great things there for as long as I want to be working. And I don't, like, they're not going to fire me but like, you just never know what the future is. And so, like, in building this YouTube channel, I mean, I'll always have, like, if something were to happen, Wild Hair, Guarantee sells the company and whatever, you'll know where to find me. I'll be right here on a channel that's, you know, as a side piece, has 18,000 subs, and I've done plenty of stuff here. Y'all will know where to find me. And Twitter and Facebook and you know, that's why it's important, I think, to be on all those platforms. Matt living rent-free in Bama Bubba Gump's mind. It's true. They talk more about me than anybody else. It was pretty funny. Let's see. Because he snubbed coaching on Pro Bowls, can't get in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't have the stats to get in, overcoming not having any Pro Bowls. I thought all pros. He was never an all-pro either. Marcus Colston was never all-pro. He was on the all-rookie team in 2006, and that's it. Like, he just doesn't have the career numbers or accolades to do it. I mean, he left as the greatest receiver in Saints history. Receptions, receiving yards, highest receiving average, receiving touchdowns, 6,000-yard seasons, games with 100 or more receiving yards, most games played by a wide receiver. He's the greatest receiver in Saints history. He's just not a Hall of Fame wide receiver. I mean, both things can be true. So, like, for example, Marcus Colston is 63rd in NFL history in all-time receiving yards. I mean, Shannon Sharp just got in the Hall of Fame. He's 56th, and that took him 20 years to get in the Hall of Fame. But Shannon Sharp was arguably the best receiver in the NFL. His career just ended. Go this way. His career was cut short because of injury. But, like, before that, Calvin Johnson, again, 11,609. He's 36th all time. Calvin Johnson just played 9 seasons and then retired, but he was the best in the NFL at the time he retired. Like, he's just not close, man. Like, it's just, he was a great, he's a great Saints, the greatest Saints receiver ever. He's just not a Pro Football Hall of Famer. What about Hold the Mayo and Whiskey and Wine? I'd love that. I don't know if Colston has any all pros either. No, he does not. Yeah, I didn't get it. Okay. Franco Nation, morning. Has your line improved? Yeah. Drew, last time. Go this way. Okay. Thank you. Mark, will the Saints sign a veteran quarterback? I don't think so. Why wouldn't they have done that already? Should the Saints sign an offensive lineman do the injury bug? They did that this week with the guy they signed from the UFL. And what is that shirt? Once again, the shirt. Any questions? I love this shirt so much. All right, a couple more. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. BK went out of his way to remind that reporter he's had many first-round pick offensive linemen. I think we're good. I don't think he went out of his way. He was asked specifically about how he feels about the offensive line. Am I the only one who wants to see Dabo stumble and fall while running down that hill? That would be hilarious. I would absolutely co-sign. Let's see. Good morning, Matt. Curious about the scrimmage. Is it 4 full 50-minute quarters? I don't know. Typically, they don't play it like that, like with a clock. Typically, it'll be a number of plays. Like the first team offense will go against first team defense, and they'll have a set number of plays they want to run. And then the twos, then probably the ones, then the twos again, like that. I just ate a scone while listening to Scone. Greg T, good morning. You watching the fights? Yep, I'll have the fights on, no doubt. Yes, and I believe Chimaev will win tonight. Speaking of revenue sharing, are you aware any schools in the SEC or across the P4 that won't be sharing the full amount of $20.5 million? Good question, Christian. I don't know. And in the Power 4 anyway, I would assume everyone in the Power 4 is. I don't know if Lesnar was a transcendent fighter or was more of a freak show athlete. No, don't misunderstand. Transcendent means you had crossover. There were people who had no interest whatsoever in MMA that came into the UFC and watched because of Brock Lesnar. Like that's not even debatable. Like, like if I'm Googling the highest pay-per-views ever, and I'm guaranteeing you it's going to be Lesnar, Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey. Like, let's see, number one pay-per-view for UFC ever, Khabib McGregor, Diaz McGregor, Poirier McGregor, Cerrone, McGregor Diaz, Alvarez McGregor, Usman Masvidal, UFC 100, which, by the way, was also Brock Lesnar, Aldo McGregor. So all the McGregors, right? Then Lesnar Carwin, Nunes Rousey, Rousey Holmes, Holly Holm, Jackson Evans. Wow. Lesnar Velasquez. Get it? Get it? Those have been your transcendent fighters in the sport. Ones that had crossover fame. Ronda Rousey was doing movies and TV. She was super famous. Conor McGregor, super famous. Brock Lesnar, famous outside of just being a great fighter. That's what I'm talking about. NCAA said they didn't want to punish Michigan for what people said in the past. Yeah, I know. Matt, y'all should sell some of the shirts at the Vandy game. I might wear mine to the Vandy game, actually. What happened in the LSU locker room halftime to the 2011 Natty? Literally nothing. Saw LSU last night. LSU 2 recruiting class blue chip ratio 78. For this one? For this class? Yeah. Talk about it all the time. When you have bumper crops in the state of Louisiana, you got to keep them home. Same for 2027. Barry, number one to Oregon, average distance 16. Yeah. You can buy your way to relevance. Oregon has bought their way to relevance with Phil Knight's money. All right, last one. Do you think the impact of the Paramount deal, Never Guy, pay-per-view, absolutely. It's massive. It's just what's going to happen is it's going to allow more access to. I understand why the UFC operated under a pay-per-view model, because financially that worked for them. It's how they could maximize their dollar spend from their core audience before they found mainstream success, like with ESPN now with Paramount and CBS. As the sport has gained more credibility and continued to scale, now something like Paramount will come in and spend $7 billion for the broadcast rights. It's no different than the NFL being on Netflix or Amazon Prime. It's the same concept. So, yes, I think there are pay-per-view events that will still happen, not UFC, but that model only works for a specific niche where you have to have you don't have massive broad appeal, but you have a core following that will come for a major event. And the UFC's outgrown that, thankfully. All right, let's get out of here. Y'all have an awesome day.